Coming up on Mountain News this morning, folks in Somerset are coming together to bring back a bit of uncertainty in these stressful times. And Kentucky Gives Day comes up big for charities in the state, raising more than $600,000.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:32 on this Thursday, May the 14th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News this morning. Yesterday, soggy. Today, hopefully not as much, though we may see a little bit of it this morning. Let's send it on over to Brandon. And as he gives us a little rundown of what we should expect on this Friday Eve. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning, Will, and things are a little bit less cloudy and a little bit less soggy today, but there's still some moisture in the air in the way of fog this morning. We're going to continue to track that, so just be extra careful, especially down in the Cumberland Valley and out toward Lake Cumberland this morning. Let's take a look at those numbers, and you see less than 5 miles of visibility in a lot of spots this morning. A lot of folks dealing with that, and then in Jacksboro, 0 visibility. So if you're heading over Jellicoe Mountain into East Tennessee there on I-75, be extra careful there and take it slow and steady. And let's take a look at our temperatures. 40s and 50s across the board, close to 60 in some locations in the Big Sandy and Kentucky River Valley this morning, including Jackson, Hazard, Prestonsburg, and Pineville, all at 57. Some cooler temperatures in Cumberland Valley, 46 in Somerset, 45 in Jonesville, 47 in Harlan. Your out the door forecast today, well, we are going to feature some clearing skies, even though you may have a few clouds this morning, and by the afternoon, 80 degrees. Maybe a stray shower chance off and on throughout the day, but not a whole lot expected. And because I forgot to do it earlier, let's check those lottery jackpots. Don't forget Friday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $266 million, and Saturday night's Powerball jackpot is $88 million. Will?
Friday can't come fast enough, Brandon, that's for sure. Thank you. Well, many local restaurants are preparing to reopen right before Memorial Day weekend. Here are some of the biggest changes that are coming for customers. If you do not live in the same house, you will not be allowed to sit at the same table. Drink stations, buffet, and children's play areas are all out. Also, restaurants can only use disposable utensils in menus. And of course, these are only some of the changes that are coming to local restaurants. Well, retail stores in Kentucky can reopen starting Wednesday with restrictions, and some of your favorites may be in jeopardy. We spoke with former economics professor Richard Crow on how these stores might have to find another way to sustain themselves. Crow tells us local businesses may be able to adapt by adding online stores due to active community support. But it might be a different story for chain retail stores, pointing out that this is merely the next step for an industry already in decline. Thanks to the rise of online shopping, we can see this as some companies begin their bankruptcy proceedings. Well, the drive-in option has been a popular alternative during the COVID-19 pandemics for everything from movies to church services. But this time has not been easy for drive-in theaters. The Stanford Drive-In has been in operation since 1952, and it's one of the few drive-ins that still operating in Kentucky. Owner Denise Pike was at first told she could not open at all because movie theaters were closed. But as the state gradually reopened, she's been given the green light. However, there will be plenty of rules to follow at the concession stand.
We have 2 registers that are 8 to 10 feet apart, and then we're going to have like only 2 people inside at a time per register, and that's meaning one and then 6 feet back the other one.
Pike also says everyone will need to stay in their cars to watch the movie, and there will be no speakers outside. You'll have to listen on your car radio. Well, all through COVID-19, we've brought you many drive-through events, from parades to funerals. But what about a drive-through ring ceremony? WYMT's Camille Gear has more on North Laurel's Middle School's ring ceremony and their motivation behind the season.
A perfect 15-0 season.
Well, we went undefeated. It was a storybook season, 15-0.
And a state championship does not happen often.
It was great because we tried to do it last year. We got really close but messed up in the playoffs. So this year we wanted to come back, win it this year, go 15-0, and just perfect.
But for the North Laurel Middle School football team, the wins, the trophies, and the drive-through ring ceremony have a bigger meaning.
We had a little extra motivation from a player. We had a little accident in the season and kind of inspired all the guys to play for Jay.
Last July, Jay Gilliam's mom died in a car crash. In the crash, Jay suffered season-ending injuries.
He still was able to come to practice every day and watch and all the games and cheer us on, and it really kept the kids motivated to dedicate the season for him.
The team decided to dedicate their season to him with a Play for Jay motto, even engraved on the inside of the rings.
That's on every ring inside there.
Showing that sports can help us through the tough times. In Laurel County, Camille Gear, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, McKnight said although a drive-in ring ceremony is not what they hoped for, he is still happy that he was able to see his players' reactions when they put on the rings for the first time. Well, the 4th of July fireworks show in Corbin is canceled. It's the latest in a growing list of large-scale events being canceled this summer because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Tourism Commission canceled the show at a meeting Tuesday night. Now, yesterday was an exciting day at the Wolfe County Health and Rehabilitation Center as family, friends, and community members drove by the center to see their loved ones from a distance for the first time in weeks. The residents lined the sidewalks holding signs and balloons to also show their love. Amy Prater, administrator at the center, said the parade was something the residents looked forward to.
They were very excited. I don't think any of them thought it was going to be raining and cold, but they still wanted to do this. They wanted to see their loved ones. It's kind of like a party for them.
Officials with the rehabilitation center say they continue to follow social distancing guidelines and continue to stay healthy at home to get through the pandemic. Now, one man in Somerset decided to play God Bless America on his trumpet on one March evening on his porch, and now it's become a daily routine. Jeff Snyder lives in the Eagles Nest subdivision in Pulaski County. He plays tunes nearly every night at 7 p.m. sharp, but he's not alone anymore. Snyder is joined by another performer he says is talented well beyond her years. Somerset High School sophomore Lucy MacArthur plays violin frequently with Jeff.
It doesn't really matter how many people there are. If you just are able to get to that one person by your music, then that's all that I want to do. I mean, that's the main purpose.
Lucy says she wants to pursue a career in music and maybe one day play at Carnegie Hall. Well, Kentucky Gives Day came up big for charities in the state. Kentuckians donated more than $652,000 to more than 200 nonprofit organizations in Kentucky. The money was raised in the 8th annual Kentucky Gives Day online giving campaign. The event has raised nearly $3 million during the last 8 years. This year, more than 4,100 people donated.
Time now for our daily Helpers and Heroes segment, where we honor those working on the front lines across the region and across the mountains. Let's take a look at our first picture today. This is Nathan Pack, submitted by Nancy Price. He's a shift manager at the McDonald's in Paintsville. He hasn't missed a day of work since the outbreak started and works to serve everyone coming in through his store with hot and fresh food. Our next picture comes to us from Knox County. These are the folks from the Save-A-Lot store in Barberville. They used to work, or they still work. They're not used to work. They work to make sure their customers have everything they need to get them through these hard times. We appreciate their dedication to their community now and always, especially right now. And finally today, this is Robin and Lisa from Johnson County. They both work at the Dollar General store in Whittensville. The people we featured today may not be first responders or healthcare workers, but they are also out there dealing with the public, doing their best to keep everyone supplying with essential services, and we appreciate them. Of course, we're still getting submissions in. We're still taking those. You can do that at WYMT.com. Just search for the Helpers and Heroes link, or right there on the homepage below the radar, you'll see that little button there that says Add Media. You can add those to that as well. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you, and thank you for joining us right here on Mountain News this morning. Still ahead, we have heard plenty about how COVID-19 is impacting state budgets. We talked with one local jailer about how they are feeling that strain themselves.